So, dear Miss Anya, today I came to tell you that the school should ban water bottle. I will tell you my 3 reasons. First, the water bottle contaminate the ocean. Second, they only reuse 10% of the water bottle. The other 90% is throw in landfills or in the ocean. 3 reason is that some animals eat the water bottle and they can die because some people throw a water bottle to the floor. Now I'm going to tell you more deeply my 3 reasons. My first reason is that water bottle contaminate the ocean, making it more dirty. I know it is only in the school, but when somebody in the school throws a water bottle, somebody picks it up, throws it to a garbage can, and it could end up in the ocean or in a landfill that is contaminating Earth. My second reason is that we only recycle 10% of the water bottle and 90% present is throw. It'll be in the opposite side if they will recycle more than 55% because they will be less contamination and they wouldn't be so polluted and Earth will be a much better place. My third reason is that when water bottles are throw, some animals can eat it and die because they get infected by water bottle, and the Earth will lose more animals no matter from where they are, as a live less for Earth. And for example, fish, we eat fish and the fish eat water, but we will get sick by eating plastic. In conclusion, I hope you have seen that water bottles are bad and that you can do something to help the school and the children that don't want water bottle at the school. Okay, so Camilo, you obviously have a stance. Your stance is that we should ban water bottles. You do have some reasons when it comes to contaminating the ocean, that we only reuse 10% of the water bottles, and that animals, if they eat it, can die. You have an order to your claims, so your order is very good. You go, you stick with 1 reason per, so you have that down. Okay, so those are some positives. Some things you need to work on. I don't see many periods. You can hear when I read and I don't stop. It's because you don't have any punctuation. So we should really need to start looking at when authors use periods. So that would be something that you should definitely be looking at when you're reading. Notice those periods. When do they do it? Ask yourself that. Kind of inquire about that. Secondly, I don't see any sources. You don't quote anybody. I don't know where you got 10% from. So I don't see any sort of quotation in here. You should always be quoting some resource, a person, an article you've read, with quotes around it, saying, hey, according to scientists, only 10% of okay? So that's something that you need to add to your work going forward. All argument writers do that. They quote sources to prove their points. I would also encourage you to include micro stories. Okay, talk about if you want people to feel bad about this, right? About animals dying. Talking about an animal that died because they ate plastic. What have you seen? You see kids throw something down. Include that. Include the micro story in there. Okay, make your writing more compelling. Because right now it's very bland. It's very straightforward. It's very A, B, C, D, E. Okay, we need to work on trying to make it more interesting to capture our readers' imaginations. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. All right, the school. Dear audience, the school should not ban bottled water. It will be ridiculous to ban the school. We will get in a bad reputation in front of the schools that sell bottled water. The school's profit will decrease in really high levels. Last, for a reason, parents prefer bottled water. The first reason why we should keep the bottled water is, for example, when it is events, at the events, someone will get dry. At the cafeteria, someone will say, can you give me something to drink? But then he realized that there is nothing to drink. We will get demands from parents and we could get to a whole chaos. Don't remember that if we banned it, the kids will always bring from home. The second reason is if we want to make K4G or 5F, we need these bottles because 12 to 15 bottles in one day. Imagine how much money we can collect in one whole year, but if we banned it, we lose it. So, like if we banned it, the school profits are going to decrease. Matthias, I'm Matthias, I don't know where your other part is. So if you can get that to me, I can continue this. Right off the bat, you obviously have a claim that shouldn't be banned. You have reasons, okay? It is in an order. You keep to one reason per paragraph. I would argue with some of your reasons. See, here you did an excellent job saying we did 12 to 15 we sell 12 to 15 bottles in one day. Imagine how much money. Well, you would be able to say how much money that is, Matthias. Ask Servi Express. And then my other question is, does the profits from Servi Express go to the school? Do you know that? Because Servi Express is a different company. I don't think they work for us. So that would be something to inquire about, because I don't know how accurate that is. So always make sure your information is accurate, because if you use inaccurate information in your argument, people will stop believing that you know what you're talking about. And some of your English is just really clunky. So what are you doing to improve your English on a daily basis? So think about that. What are you doing? What effort are you putting forth to make sure that your English at the end of the day is better than when it started? So think about that. And if you have questions about that, let me know. School should sell us bottled water because we need water for 8 hours of learning. School should sell us water a little bit more expensive, let's say 200 pesos more than its regular price, so that money can go to the foundation. And also because if we are thirsty, we have an option of buying water. First of all, school should sell us water bottle because we need water when we are learning for 8 hours. When you are on school for 8 hours, you run, play, learn, eat, and lots of more things. So we need to have water on the school. So if we are going to be we can have an option of being it. For example, I investigate, and our brain needs water when we are learning for 8 hours because we need to stay good in safety. Another reason is that the school should sell us water bottle a little bit more expensive because that money can go to the foundation or some people that need it. Only with 5 water bottles you can get almost 2,500 pesos, so that money can help someone that need it. Some things can cost 10% more, so that 10% can go for people that need it. The last reason of why school should sell us bottled water is that we need to have an option of buying water bottle, is that when we are thirsty and we have money, we have an option of going to the cafeteria and buy some water bottle, because you should have options on life. Either you want to participate on it or do it, or if you don't want, you are free. So with bottled water is the same. If you want to buy, you can, and if you don't want to, you don't need to. Thank you for listening, and here you saw my reason with evidence. I hope you will get a deeper idea of why school should sell water bottle. Okay, so Cristobal, you have a claim. You have reasons that support your claim. You've organized your paper sticking to one reason per paragraph. You thought about including quotes and everything to prove your point. So all of that was extremely positive and excellent steps towards being a writer of arguments. Some feed forward, so things that we can improve upon. If we do use quotes, make sure you say where it came from. So I don't know where any of your quotes came from. If we don't say who said it, or put our sources at the end, like where we got the information, some people may think that you just made it up to prove your argument, and that's not what argument writers do. They use actual facts from actual articles or actual people and then quote them and talk about them. So that's the main thing. Secondly, I do have questions about your argument. I'm not do you know, does money already go to the foundation? I don't know. I don't know. So that would be something to investigate. So you need to make sure you're investigating your points. So if your argument is that money can go to the foundation, the first question is, does it already go to the foundation? How would that work? How would that look like? Can we set that up? I think that's pretty straightforward. The other thing, you lose punctuation, like your periods and commas kind of disappear. So as you're writing, that should be a real focus. Really, as you're reading, during reading workshop, really study, where do authors put periods? Where do they put commas? Why do they do that? And really kind of focus on doing that for your own writing. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, Angel. I think this is Angel. There's no name on it, so I'm guessing here. Dear Miss Audience, you should be not permitting water bottles in the school. Why? Because we are doing a bad thing to the earth. We can kill birds, fish, trees in our environment. A single bottle of water is a single bottle of water, it disappear after 1,000 years. The bottled, if we don't recycle, it would be good because you don't throw it, you use it again, so it will not contaminate, but it depend all on your decision, but it killed 200,624 fishes at day. Miss Anya, you should not be letting bottled liquids at school or for a time because the school and the earth can be destroyed. If we keep using them, we can disappear 100 species of birds a year. So in my opinion, quit the bottled water at school. The world would end, but at 1% or less slower. Conclusion, Miss Anya, in my opinion, you should quit the bottles in the school. Okay. So Angel, you have a claim. You're saying that the school should ban the water bottles, and you have some reasons. You have two, and you do stay on point in each paragraph, so you did those things well. Some things to think about and to improve your writing. We should at least have 3 reasons. So you should have another reason to support your audience. That's just kind of the basic formula is 3. I see you use a lot of numbers and facts, which is excellent thing to do. However, what we need is where did you find those numbers? Because as a writer, if I include numbers in my writing and I don't say where I got them from, people may think I just made them up to prove my point, and that is not something argument writers do. That might be something politicians do, but not argument writers. So where did you find this information? Another thing you can do is, instead of just putting the numbers down, if you got it from an article or from a video, you can quote that video and put the actual quotes there. That improves the story. Remember, you can also use personal stories, micro stories. Maybe a time you saw a plastic bottle laying around the school to show that littering. Okay, so things to think about. And you did an excellent job of using commas here, and then you kind of disappeared. Your punctuation disappeared. So as you're reading, think about when do authors use periods? Why do they use periods? All that good stuff. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Isabel. About a year ago, all sodas were banned from our school, not only because it wasn't healthy, but also because it was not safe for the environment. But what's the point of that if they keep bottled water? On one side, well, water is healthy, unlike sodas. But on the other side, it adds more costs to the school. It is harmful to our delicate environment, and tap water is not dirtier than bottled water. So in my humble but deliberate opinion, we, the school, should ban bottled water at all costs. In my first paragraph, I will express the theory that tap water is safer to our environment, which is in a fragile state, such that if it were a person, it would be dying. First, I must comment about my knowledge to this subject. I am not oblivious to the fact that plastic is recyclable. I am, in fact, well informed that plastic is a medicine to our environment in critical state. But I also happen to acknowledge the fact that out of all the plastic we use, only 20% is actually recycled. Out of the 60 million consumed, that's about 2 to 3 million. Not a lot. Really, there is... Okay. So I'm not sure if maybe May 13th, May 12th. Not a lot, really. There is also a very important factor missing. The one most ignorant people, or not, don't realize. They forget where the bottles are made. The source is extremely fundamental, in which this case it happens to be a factory with high contaminational residues. Not to mention, enormous amount. Not to mention the waste that ends up in the rivers. That is why bottled water is highly contaminating to the planet. Another reason why the school should ban bottled water is because it adds more cost to our school. Again, I must say that water is a fundamental object for our survival, and its existence is ceasing. Therefore, its demand increasing as well as the value. Bottled water is getting more expensive. I am predicting that you'll say, oh, but tap water too. In most cases, yes, the water service is costing each time more, but our case is different. We do the process ourselves. And Isabel, I know you didn't write your conclusion. So let me say this: you have your claim, and you provide reasons to support your claim. You supply evidence to support those reasons. So you have that part down. You're very thoughtful about the words that you use. Your word choice is evidence. So congratulations on that as well. What was I going to say? I'm curious about some of the information that you use. Where Like, and you use really good metaphors. Like, this is excellent. The idea of comparing the Earth to a person and saying that they're dying. I mean, fantastic. I was kind of confused here that plastic is a medicine to our environment in critical state. I'm not sure I understand that. How is plastic a medicine for? You're saying that plastic could be a good thing? Oh, that was another thing. You do an excellent job of talking about counterclaims, so keep that up as well. But I was confused about that. And when we do use facts, so this idea about 27%, you had another one somewhere. The idea about the factories, where are you getting that information? We need to quote that information. We need to talk about the sources that we got. Where did you get the video? Was it a video? Was it an article? And you need to write that out and say, I got this information from this place. According to Dr. So only 27% of plastic is recycled. Okay, something like that. You need to reference where you're getting your information, because as an argument writer, if you don't do that, people just think you're making it up, and then your argument becomes kaput. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Keep up the excellent work. And again, just make sure you're quoting. Make sure that your facts make sense. And again, I would read through and again, I don't understand the thing about the medicine one. Okay. All right. And then here, like when you talk about the factories contaminating the rivers and everything, where are you getting that information from? So where do you get the information from? So we need to do a better job of sourcing our information. All right, Valeria, dear the Columbus School, water bottle and boxed water have something different. Bottled water is bad for the environment. My micro story, I have seen people throwing plastic water in the floor, other ones to the grass and others to a different garbage. That is contaminating the plant earth, and not just in Columbia, in all the world, because people is not caring. The plastic never go away from the grass. Not all the people care for the environment, so that is not equal. 30% care and the other 70% do not. But the point is, yes, to care because as your planet is where you live. You don't want to live in a world who is filled with garbage. Also, living with a lot of garbage is bad for your health. Evidence, I got it from the internet, Safari, Green Living Ideas. Boxed water can help us save the environment for many reasons. Boxed Water Retree Project. Boxed Water is collaborating with the National Forest Foundation. Their plan is to plant 1 million trees. Even their goal is to plant 100,000 or more. The nation is between April 2015 and June 2015. My evidence benefits of boxed water, Millennial Magazine. 75% of our package is made of box. Also, you can reuse it. You can make a flat hat that it looks really cool. Fake nails are really pretty. Also, you can make a garden putting flowers on it, and a lot more. And the front of the boxed water said a really nice quote, boxed water is better for the earth. So that is basically what I'm trying to tell you. And in the side just said hello. In the back is all important information. Here is like my point for you to think. In all the pages I have visited except for 2, they have said that bottled water is going to save us from bottled water, or boxed water is going to save us from bottled water. It is like the hero for the environment because it's really different boxed water than bottled water. It can help us with the carton because she is made with that. Also, we in boxed water make more cloth hats, fake nails, etc. And we can make it boxed water. We always can, but all of us need to collaborate. If you see someone throwing to the floor grass and another garbage, tell her or she. That will help. So that is why the school should send boxed water. It will help us make a very nice place to live instead of living in a world full of garbage. Thank you. Okay, Valeria. Some things you're doing well. You stayed on topic the whole time. You understand that you need to include different aspects like a micro story and evidence and quotes. So you have a really solid understanding of that structure of your argument piece. So that is excellent. Some things to think about. Your paper it's not organized in a way. When we're talking about, especially argument writing to begin with, we want to do this, like claim, and then reason 1, reason 2, oops, and reason 3. That's like your first paragraph, okay? Your second paragraph is reason 1 with evidence A, evidence B, and evidence C. So that's paragraph 2. Paragraph 3, 3 is reason 2 and evidence A, B, and C. And then reason 3 is your third paragraph, evidence A, B, C. And then your last one is your conclusion, which is kind of, you have your reasons again. You reiterate those 1, 2, and 3, and then your claim. Okay, so again, this is paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 5. All right, so this is the basic structure, okay? So as you're writing your next argument, really think about that. Because here you can see we kind of 1, 2, 3, and then this huge thing, and it's kind of all over the place, so it's not necessarily organized. You're, I guess you do have 5 sections, but it's not as straightforward as what you're trying to say, because in your beginning, you don't really say, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. And then my first one, my second one, okay? Your conclusion was excellent, by the way. This place to live instead of living in a world full of garbage. That was an excellent way to end it, all right? But other than that, you do need to bring back in your reasons and your claim, okay? And again, you offered a solution which is excellent. And a last thing to think about is, what would the people arguing against you say when it comes to boxed water? What if people throw boxes on the floor? Does that impact the environment if we're not taking care of those boxes? Okay. And again, you're chopping down trees. So we have to kill trees in order to make the boxes. So it's things to think about. Okay. So making sure your organization is right. Making sure you're including your reasons and evidences in your final. 3, oh yeah, the other thing, you pulled in facts and you said where they came from. I'm going to show you some ways to do that a little less clunky, because it kind of, the way you're doing it now kind of goes, kind of stops the flow of your writing. So we'll do that again. And then lastly, I would ask you, what are you doing to make your English better? How do you make sure that in the end of the day your English is better? Because sometimes in your writing it gets kind of confusing, because I think you're probably thinking in Spanish and then just writing in English. So think about that, all right? I go. The world was beautiful until people start contaminating. It has been contaminant for years. Now you go to a river and you see bottles, and that is about what I'm going to talk about. The Columbus School should ban water bottles because we don't want to be part of damaging nature animals, and they both are the same. First of all, it is dangerous for nature. When you throw a bottle to the trash, you don't know where it is going. If they let them in nature, we are going part of damaging forests, oceans, etc. Another reason that it's dangerous for animals, when you walk through the forest, you see papers and garbage, but most bottles. Like I say, we don't know where the bottles are going. Maybe they throw it to the forest and animals will eat them and die, or they will get a sickness. When I was little, I can't remember what animal. I saw him eating a bottle, so I asked my dad what was going to happen to the animal. He said, die because of the bottle, or get sick. The most important reason is that they both are the same. Juan Fernando, an expert on this, said, when you see water as white, it's just air, and the both are the same. They put chloro in both, but not the pool one. The difference is the presentation. I hope you ban water bottles because of the damage it does, and because you can bring thermos. Okay, Santiago, some things you're doing well. Your paper, for the most part, is organized. You stick on point with your reasons. You included a micro story. Very powerful, this idea about saying this animal gets sick and talking to your dad. You did an excellent job including an expert's opinion. Really well done. Now, things that we can work on. We need to make sure that we go on point. So claim, reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. And then the next paragraph is reason 1 with 3 pieces of evidence. And then paragraph 2 is reason 2 with 3 pieces of evidence. And paragraph 3 is reason 3 with 3 pieces of evidence. And then a conclusion, which brings in your 3 reasons, and then your 1 claim again. And in your conclusion, you kind of threw this whole idea about bringing a thermos. That could be another reason that you put into your paper, and talk about that. The other thing that we can think about is bringing in some information when it comes to why don't we know where the trash is going. You're saying we don't know where it's going. Why? Why is that? Did you do research into where the trash goes? You paint a picture of forests being littered with all this stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate or not. So think about what information you're providing, okay? So as you're writing arguments, remember that. Remember to keep it in order. Remember there's a basic structure to it. Remember to add evidence in every single paragraph, not just one. Keep doing the thing about quoting your experts, really good. One thing to do from that is analyzing what we can look at. So you take his quote and then really break it down and think about it, which you kind of did with the presentation, but that was kind of confusing. And then my last question to you is, how do you make sure your English is better at the end of every day? That's a question you can ask yourself. All right, see you, Lana. All right, I think this is it. Earth was created, then dinosaurs, and finally us. You see, when dinosaurs arrived, Earth was perfect. When we arrived, Earth was great, till we destroyed it with our creations, factories, plastic, etc. And instead of solving our mistakes, we keep destroying Earth by continuing buying and wasting what makes the Earth contaminated and destroyed. Plastic, bottled water, etc. Help save the world by stopping the school from buying bottled water. So first, I want bottled water to be banned because it is simply horrible. If you burn a plastic bottle, it creates a black smoke called carbon monoxide. Or if you throw it to the ground, it will take at least 30 years to become a part of the Earth, etc. In any ways, the bottles are bad for the environment. The water is great, but the bottles are really bad. A single bottle could kill at least 3 marine animals or even a human. Tap water is better. It's clean and safe, and you don't have to pay 3,000 pesos to drink from the tap. Each month, the water is clean, so we can drink it. Because if we don't bring something to drink and we're thirsty, we can drink from the sink. Reason number 2 is that not everyone brings money and not everyone buys bottled water, so the school doesn't make enough to profit. It's better if Servia Express sells cups of water instead of bottled water. The school sells juice and tea and Milo and coffees. Plus, in the high school cafeteria, there's 2 water fountains, and one of them has the sensory thing that refills your water bottle. So the school, instead of buying bottled water, the school should put 1 water fountain in each elementary cafeteria. The school would waste less money by putting 1 water fountain in each elementary cafeteria, 3rd and 5th and 2nd and 4th, especially because in elementary we're not allowed to buy in the cafeteria unless it's poly or with a signed sticky note by our teacher. Not everyone brings something to drink for lunch and snack, and Servia Express doesn't have water for everyone in the 3rd and 5th cafeteria, so a water fountain would really help. So in conclusion, the school should stop buying bottled water. It would also help because it would reduce the fabrication of plastic bottles, and it would help the environment. So that is why the school should ban bottled water and help the environment. I hope I persuaded you by. Okay, so Alana, you have a really nice way of communicating. You paint a very nice, you use really nice words to kind of paint your writing. And you stayed on topic and you went through somewhat of an order. Some things to think about and improve upon in your, even though your introduction was powerful, you didn't talk about what you were going to talk about. So when we do argument writing, we do want to give people a heads up as to what reasons they need to look for that we're going to be presenting. Here, there was some things that I don't understand, like the idea of burning a plastic bottle. Do people do that? Is that how they get rid of it? Do you have evidence of that? This whole thing about 30 years, I think it's way longer than that for a plastic bottle to disintegrate. Where are you getting that information? And then how does it kill a human? So we can't just say stuff. We have to have evidence If you don't supply evidence for your reasons, no one's going to believe you. Okay? Drink, we're thirsty, we can drink from the sink. Actually, I thought that was an excellent line for like a campaign. Drink from the sink. But anyway, again, you're not using all the strategies that you can use to influence people. The idea of microstories, quoting people, quoting sources. You have no indication that you got any research done. It seems like you're making stuff up. The idea about cafeterias and where money comes from, that was a little confusing. I don't know if the school pays for it. Survey Express, I believe, is a separate entity from the school. Like, they're independent. They don't work for the school. So I don't think the school is spending any money on bottled water. So that would be something you need to investigate. You're just assuming. You're making assumptions. And assumptions don't mean anything. So you need to do more research. So as you're preparing your next paper, please, if you don't know something for a fact, if you haven't read it in an article or talked to an expert or gotten information, then you're just guessing. And argument writers do not guess. Because if you just guess all the time, then you're not going to persuade anyone. Because they're going to see through it and go, oh, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. So think about that, please. All right, Pedro. The school should completely ban plastic water bottles. They don't have any good. They are any better than tap water or glass bottled water. Plastic water bottle doesn't just affect the school, but the world with their pollution, unhealthy water to drink, and their inefficiency and high price. You might think that plastic water bottles don't pollute too much because they're recycled and you can also make electricity with it. But guess what? Just the United States used 50 billion plastic water bottles and just 23% of it was recycled. They cost more than $1 billion worth in plastic. Also, if you wanted to make electricity, you could make, but very much less than if 100% of it was recycled. Also imagine the pollution of that, and beware. That was just the United States. Imagine all the world. The most important reason why we should ban plastic water bottles is because of their pollution. According to Batanga.com, each year 6 tons of garbage are thrown into the ocean. Most of it is plastic. It produces the death of more than 1 million birds, 1,000 mammals, and innumerable amount of fishes and crustaceans. Plastic water bottles are made out of many chemicals and different substances. One of them is oil. The United States used 47 million gallons of oil making plastic water bottles. That is enough oil to take 100,000 out of the road and 1 million pounds of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. The United States is the biggest consumer of plastic water bottles, and 4 out of 5 are thrown to the ground. Sources. Okay, good. Plastic water bottles are unhealthier than tap water. Maybe you think plastic water bottles are healthier than tap water, but instead of tap water is healthier than plastic bottled water. Plastic bottle is not necessarily healthier or safer, especially at the Columbus School, because according to Juan Fernando, the head maintenance, before and after we go to school, maintenance is checking if the water is clean, if it is safe to drink, and the level of chlorine is good. Plastic water bottles are injected with a lot of chemicals, and those chemicals affect the health of the water. Instead, tap water is flowing through the pipes. Also, the school could sell only glass bottled water because they don't pollute the environment. They are made naturally, so they do not have chemicals that affect the health of the water. Tap water can get really dirty when there is an earthquake because the pipeline breaks, so the dirt goes into the pipe and the water is totally undrinkable. But first of all, when there is an earthquake, the first thing you do is go under your desks or go to the field, and you are not going to drink water. And second of as soon as there is an earthquake, the whole maintenance, there are 24 people to go check if the water is okay to drink. My last reason is that plastic bottle is more expensive and less practical than tap water. Plastic water in general are 500 times more expensive than tap water. People spend 1,000 times more for plastic water bottles than for tap. So many people waste a lot of money in plastic water bottles while they could be drinking tap water that will cost you 500 times less. Tap water is much more efficient because in every classroom there is a sink. You can also drink from the bathrooms and some water fountains, but on the other hand, there is just one cafeteria in elementary, and you can almost never go to that cafeteria. Plus, you have to do a line to buy in the cafeteria. Instead, you can drink tap water whenever you want. All right, Pedro, you stay on message, you have a claim, you have reasons, you have evidence to support those reasons. You include, you quote from places, thank you quote experts, you talk about websites. You have a lot of information to support your argument, so extremely well done. Some things to think about is let's see. I was confused. Oh, you did a really good job too of trying the idea of putting in a counter argument. You were talking about the earthquake, so I thought that was interesting. My one question would be to follow through on that is if it's not okay to drink, what are we going to drink? What would be my question? What if we're stuck here and no one can leave and come and the pipes are broken? What would happen then? Another thing to think about is the idea of your conclusion. Your conclusion, I think this is your conclusion? I'm not sure. So that's the problem. I don't know. The conclusion reviews the evidence that the reasons that you have in your claim and tries to, give people a nice little pop to give them, to really make them think at the end. But keep up the excellent work here. This is really good stuff. You should be proud of the work that you've done here. So keep doing what you're doing when it comes to argument writing. Keep quoting. Try little micro stories. Maybe in your next one, make it a little bit more personal. Let's think of something that you were involved in to really kind of bring home a point. That could be something you use. Think about your conclusions. Really want to kind of get someone to come in. I'll share some good conclusions with you. And other than that, though, keep up the good work, my friend. All right.